Hello, everybody. Welcome to what is the first episode, the test episode of, we'll call it the Dreams Around the World show. We'll probably post the entire show as one go and then cut out segments as individual videos as well. So maybe we'll jump into the first topic. One of the things that I think can be sometimes tragic and happens with people is they meet before either of them really know who they are. And this is probably more true with conservative cultures or when people get married younger, right? But it can happen to anyone. Is, someone doesn't necessarily know who they are. And often with ENFPs, we conform. Like, I've got plenty of photos of me in a suit when I was like 21, 22, thinking, I want to be a marketing manager, right? And I did not know who I really was. There were parts, probably my friends knew who I was, but I didn't know who I was. So at that point in my life, someone who met me probably wouldn't know exactly what they were getting into because I didn't know who I really was, right? And what that is. So sometimes I think you get these couples where you have an ENFP who met the other person when they were both young and they didn't necessarily know who they were or what they wanted, or the ENFP was pretending to be really boring. They were being a square because that's just conforming, right? Like people do.
Yeah.
And then as they get older and the ENFP, and of course this could happen with any type in any way, right? But as the person really wants to be more of themselves, then they start to maybe be more creative or risk-taking or spontaneous or party a little harder because they never partied when they were younger. And, we're ENFPs, we like to party. And their partner's like, whoa, I signed up for the boring dude. Like, this is not the agreement, right? I did not sign up for the artist. I did not sign up for the party animal or the world traveler. I signed up for the steady, reliable lawyer that I met. And, what gives? And it obviously creates quite a problem because, number one, there's a friction between the ENFP and wanting to grow and really start accepting themselves after maybe not accepting themselves for 20, 30, 40 years. And the last thing you want is like whenever you're trying to accept yourself, your partner's giving you pushback and like trying to claw you back to the person that they think you are, but you're really not. But then the other thing is your partner kind of rightfully from their point of view will be giving you shit for whatever it is, the downsides. Like maybe you got like, you partied with your friends too late one night, or your finances aren't as solid as they once were because you're only working part-time because you're also trying to, write a book or paint or something, right? But the thing is because they don't appreciate that other side, they're not like, oh my God, it's amazing. My boyfriend or my husband is an artist, or he's so creative, or he's so spontaneous. You don't get any credit for the positive parts, and you're only getting the negative, right, is getting pointed out. And this isn't good. That's sort of
For sure.
they say, like, I don't know if this is always true. I don't really think it is, but they say like most people don't fall in love with the person. They fall in love with the image they create of the person. So not only do we act a bit differently early on, perhaps, maybe to put the best foot forward, but maybe just because we don't know either, right? And ENFPs are naturally a bit more like chameleons. So I remember I dated this girl actually who did work at Amazon for a bit. And I wasn't going to tell her all my views on this or that. Like, I don't want to attack her. Like, she was a very nice person. We got along well and stuff. I don't want to be like pointing out that her job is whatever I really felt about it. And yeah, and then people do tend to idealize others, or at the very least, ENFPs and NF types do this, where we do idealize others. And so it's easy for people, someone dating me could see the entrepreneur businessman part. Like if they want a routine, steady type guy,
Yeah.
with missing the total like free spirited hippie part, the writer part, the artist part of me. But they could be like, yeah, yeah, he has his own business, like he has a nice apartment, like, he has an assistant, like he's doing okay, obviously, whatever. And they could project that onto it and totally miss out on the other, right? We put up our blinders with it. Um,
Yeah.
and it could even happen like you could imagine with an INFP or INFJ where they some of them don't really like to party or be in large groups, but maybe early in a relationship they force themselves, right, to go out with everyone, to be part of these
Mm-hmm.
things. And then their partner takes that for granted, not realizing how exhausting it is for them. And then as they get older and they realize, like, you know what, it's not worth it for me. Like, it's not worth going to your cousin's, dinner party and being tired for 2 days after. Again, the same kind of thing can come up. So I think it's a difficult situation once there's that entrenchment. Like once you're in that situation, and if it's been, a 5-year relationship or something like that or longer, um, I, how to resolve that is probably much longer than a topic for today. But I think the starting point is like being really clear on as early as you can in your life, like knowing who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Personality tests are a great way to accelerate that sometimes. Life experience, honesty, reading, peer group. That's why travel can be really great because you reset your peer group. So you start acting like if you're with the same friends you grew up with, you will be more likely to act like the person you acted when you were growing up, right? If you change countries every so often, you get a new, fresh peer group. You can try out different things. You can potentially
Mm-hmm.
be a different person. Um, I remember I took this cruise once. It was a one-way cruise from Europe, from Spain to Brazil. And they do this every season when they want to move the boats over. So they do like summers in Europe, and then the boats go to Brazilian summer, European winter. So it's very cheap. It's like, I mean, maybe it's changed now, but it was maybe like 500 euro or something or less for like a week on a cruise ship, all the food, all the alcohol. So it attracted a bunch of like nomad types, hippies, online entrepreneurs. This was like before when you had to be a real nomad, not the fake COVID nomads and all these people. And and I remember there was this one girl who was like forget exactly her job in London, but definitely it was more like, professional, whatever. And over the 2 weeks, like the first week on the boat and then the week in Brazil, like the transformation, and you see this all the time when people go to Costa Rica to the beach dresses and they start doing their hair different and becoming more feminine again and less like kind of corporate stuck up like feeling. And like within 2 weeks, they're a beach hippie. And it happens to guys too, but I've noticed it a little more extreme with women, where like when they go to the beach towns, like southern Spain, Portugal, Brazil, Costa Rica,
Oh,
they're a different person within 1 week. Like it's crazy. And so anyhow, travel, all these different experiences, I think help you get a sense of the different people you can be. And ultimately, if like my number one dating advice would be like date someone who appreciates the best parts of you, because otherwise they'll never appreciate the worst parts or they'll never put up with the worst parts. I think there's that Marilyn Monroe quote, or maybe it's someone else, but it's like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Um, and there's something, uh, that idea of like someone when you're at your best and who you really are, your partner should be like, wow, I love this guy or I love this girl, like this is my person. um and if at your best they're like, eh,
mm,
then like you're never gonna get away with your worst. And bringing stuff up early, that's like the biggest thing I figured out early on in dating. Bring up whatever that happens to be, right? If you're working like a more corporate job but you want to go travel the world next year, or quit and be super bohemian and broke and write a novel or whatever, like bring that up, like have that in your dating profile if you're on the apps, or bringing it up early in the date. Because it's very easy to do early, but if you start to feel trapped, like you're 2 months in
Mm-hmm.
and you're starting to really love this person, and they're like, wow, I love how steady your income is and how consistent you are, and you're like, how do I tell her I'm about to quit and like go write a novel in Venezuela or whatever?